You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming, and Subby Mount on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Koshiro's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Well, the smell is what really attracted me here, so I can certainly say I'm eager to try it. To be honest, I didn't know you could cook. I often helped my mother when I was young, though. I'm surprised how I even recall how to make any of this now. That, and I had a lot of practice when I had to make my own meals. Koshiro's smile faded for a moment as he started to stir a bit slower. He was obviously thinking about something melancholy. Before you were able to say anything, though, he quickly looked up with a smile again. I suppose it has come in handy, though, for a time like this. Well, I appreciate it. To be honest, while I may not be living in the same luxuries I did back at the castle, I can't say that this is bad either. I do wish that I could provide more for you. You've been doing all that you can to take care of me, and thank you for that all the same. We don't exactly have servants or live in a giant castle anymore, so I can't expect everything to be handed to me on a silver spoon any longer. We have to make the most of what we have now. Koshiro went a little wide-eyed with an astonished expression. What? What? You just seem like you have changed a little. I have? How? I don't know, but you seem more content despite everything that has happened. I suppose I believe you would have taken this all quite hard. I'm just growing numb to it all. I figure that complaining about this won't change anything, and besides, I believe in you and Leandros. The two of you told me not to worry, that things would be better. I just hold on to that hope. The pleasant scent of food soon turned sour and charred. During the two of your talks, Koshiro had been distracted and stopped stirring. Smoke was starting to rise from the porridge as it turned from white to brown to black. Oh, Koshiro! Ah! A small fire erupted in the tiny pot, but Koshiro was quick to add a bit of water to put it out. Though he did his best to save the meal, by the time the smoke had cleared, the food was already well burned and dried out in many places. It's ruined. I'm so sorry. I messed it all up. It's alright. I should have said something earlier. Let's try to scoop out the burned parts and salvage what's left. It's a good thing you made other things to eat as well. Koshiro scooped out a bit and took a bite. He nearly gagged as his face twisted in disgust. I don't think it's edible anymore. Can't we make some more? I'm afraid that was all the rice I had. I'll have to go to the village and pick up some more. I can do that for you. Thank you for offering, but I'll be able to make it there and back long before you. Getting a little cocky, aren't you? Well, I'm plenty fast too, you know, and the village doesn't seem that far away. Sorry, I meant no disrespect to your athletic ability. You've just been through so much this past week that I don't want you to push yourself too much. Besides, there aren't any trails that you can follow along to take you to the village and back, so I'm worried that you may get lost along the way. Fine, you've made your point. Now that I think about it, I'd rather not go out in public with this. You rubbed at your forehead and could still feel the lump. You have to tell me the truth, though. Does it look any worse? Well, I mean, it's not as bad as yesterday. Just still a little swollen. Ugh, how am I ever going to be able to show my face on such a hideous thing? I can see if there might be some ointment in the village when I go do something about it. Koshiro doused out the fire on the hearth and dusted himself off as he got up. What I need is something to conceal my face. Just get me one of those, You caught your tongue as you saw Koshiro reaching for his mask. I mean... It's alright. He hesitated, staring into the desolate-looking face of the mask before placing it back on. He cracked open the door and stood part way out before turning around. Go ahead and eat the remainder of what I have made. It should be enough to tide you over until I get back. I'll be back soon. He turned back around and left in such a hurry that he blurred as you watched him streak by the window. You looked down at the food, and while your stomach grumbled, you decided to be patient and wait for him to return. He didn't seem like he was going to be that long anyway. He took another quick look around his home, but there still wasn't much to look at. Oh, almost forgot. You moved back to the bedroom and shuffled around the covers until you found the wooden doll from the hearth. Now that it was bright out, you could make out more of the details. From a close glance, it almost looked like a replica of Koshiro, though with hair tied back and a single ponytail at the back. I wonder if he might have been the one to make this. Seeing how everyone in the village seems to hate him, I doubt they would have made this for him. If that's the case, he's got some artistic talent in him. Though now I'm curious Though now I'm curious of who it's supposed to be of. A parent? He walked over to your regular clothes and slipped the doll into a pocket for safekeeping. I'll have to ask him about this before he leaves on his mission. You moved back into the main room and waited by the hearth for Koshiro to return. But a minute turned into a half an hour and you started to become worried. The village wasn't that far away. You should have been back by now. Maybe I should have been the one to go. Your stomach grumbled again and you questioned whether you should have taken his advice and ate the food. It was likely lukewarm by now, though. Seriously, what is taking him so long? Another few minutes passed and you could tell that something was clearly wrong. Suppose I'll have to wait. I suppose I'll have to see what's holding him up. Let's see. So we came up to the house from this side, so the village should be there? At the very least, you should have seen smoke, but the trees were so tall they obscured your view. There wasn't really any path either, so you had to do your best to retrace your steps back to the village. It was dark when you had arrived, though, so any hope of locating a landmark was lost. The dense woods became even denser, and the path becoming rougher. As you trudged onwards, you had a strange feeling like you had taken a wrong turn somewhere. Not good. I hope I don't end up getting lost. He's probably already back home by now waiting for me. I won't be too mad about that. You didn't recall ever leaving through a gate or fence, so you must have still been inside the village. Still, it seemed like this place was a lot bigger than you thought. Perhaps not as big as Savannah, but it must have been difficult to keep watch over such a large area. A sudden strange feeling came from all around you. The trees shook in the wind, and a single twig fell down from a tree landing right in front of you. It reminded you of just last night, when you were in the woods. A dreadful and anxious ambience that made you look over your shoulder every few seconds. You didn't want to take another step forward. Something just didn't feel right out here. So you turned around and tried your best to make your way back, moving at a quicker speed than before. But even with your hastened steps, you could still feel the sensation. You were being watched. At some point, you weren't even sure if you were going the right way, but the creeping feeling from behind urged you onwards. Finally, you came out from the woods and saw Koshiro's home in the distance. So you felt more relieved that the feeling of eyes on you didn't leave. There was nothing but dense foliage surrounding Koshiro's home, and it was so far away from the village that there shouldn't have been anyone else out here. You focused on a spot in the trees where you felt the most uncomfortable, and you thought you might have caught some movement. Whoever you are, I know you're out here. Either show yourself or leave. You picked up a small rock and threw it in a particularly suspicious spot. It landed with a thud, but the trees rustled from another direction than you were aiming. Close, but not close enough. Though a good guess. Perhaps you aren't as oblivious as I thought. Oh! Heh. A large black wolf leapt down from high atop a tree and landed softly despite his size. He turned to look at you with those cool blue eyes. Good morning, Your Majesty. Did you sleep well? I see you've chosen to wear a kimono today. His eyes ran up and down the length of your body. And might I say, it suits you quite nicely. You hadn't forgotten what he did to you yesterday as you began to steal yourself. He was pretending to be nice, but you knew better than to fall for such a cheap trick. Your guard would not be broken so easily. But as you reached for your blade as a warning to him, you realized you had left it back inside the house. I see that you were as careless as ever with your blade. Or are you leaving it behind? Well, you don't have to worry, Your Majesty. I'm not going to hurt you. He opened his mouth to display his teeth. An attempt at a smile, but quite a poor one at that. Did you really think I forgot how you treated me yesterday? Shoving me around and threatening me? A simple misunderstanding is all that was. It was the likelihood that you were a threat. We had to make sure you weren't dangerous. But you may not have been told this yet, but there's been quite a bit of suspicious activity lately in the woods. We have been growing quite vigilant. You just happened to show up at the wrong place at the wrong time. Besides, that is in the past. We've all been given strict orders to protect you, so there was no need for concern. He looked around, making sure that he wasn't the only one out here in the ambush to ambush you again. But perhaps it would have been better if there were others here to keep him in his place. Why are you here? Check up on you, of course. That mutt dragged you out here into the woods despite the elder already having a home set for you in the village. Actually, Koshiro urged me to stay in the village, but I refused. You would willingly choose to sleep out here in the woods in a decrepit home that reeks of that mutt? Yes. Besides, it's very peaceful out here. At least it wasn't until you showed up. And as you can see, I'm just fine. Koshiro's taken good care of me like he always has. But I can't say the same for you. Hyosuke gritted his teeth. It appeared that he was still upset that Koshiro was the one now looking after you. Do you really care that much? Was it envy that drove him or something? There's a reason why I was so interested in you, but other than the spiel about his scar, you being the one and the talk of the priest, you really didn't know why. Now that you see I'm doing all right, you can be on your way. Turning away your guest so soon, Your Majesty? I thought you'd be more hospitable than that. After what happened yesterday, you should be lucky I'm even talking to you. So this is what I get for saving your life? Not even a thank you. You think you saved me? From what? Come now. Didn't that mud ever tell you? Tell me what? It's not safe for someone like you to be wandering alone out here without knowing what places to avoid. It is why the Elder placed the order to have someone watch over you at all times. He thought nothing but about your safety, yet that fox, ever so sly, left you alone out here in the woods, hoping you would eventually wander. If I hadn't shown up, you would have likely been dead. Stop rambling and just get to the point. There are many traps spread throughout the village, especially out here in the woods. About 200 to be exact, all lying in wait for an intruder to make just one misstep. If you had taken just a few more steps forward, you would have stepped into one of our traps, and a pretty nasty one at that. Now wouldn't that be a terrible thing? Quite lucky I was there to save you from such a fate. Koshiro never said one word about any traps, so he seemed to be one of Hyosuke's tricks. You trust him, yet he left you out here like a lamb to the slaughter. You say there are traps, yet I don't see any. Well, then that just means they're hidden quite well. Hyosuke took a step forward and knelt down to the ground. After rustling around some leaves, he found a piece of cloth and yanked it off the ground. Underneath it was a hole about 2 feet wide and 3 feet deep. Spikes of all different sizes covered the sides and the bottom. Well, would you look at that? Quite a nasty trap if I do say so myself. He gulped as he took a step back. Would have lost more than just a foot, too. See, these spikes are coated with a pretty deadly poison. One prick and you can be sure you won't last the night. But for your information, he did tell me. He told you, yet you still went off on your own. It's a lie if I ever smelled one. I knew exactly where I was going. You're lying again. You weren't heading anywhere towards the village, unless it was your intention all along. You really can't do much by yourself, can you? It's quite a good thing that I showed up then. You mean stalking me? Oh, I wasn't stalking you at all. I only happened to notice you passing by. As much noise as you make while walking, it's not hard at all to hear you. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell, and check out our Patreon and YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!